been ghosted so many times in my life now that I think I found the recipe how to get over it and how to move on.
That is not going to happen.
Gentlemen, welcome back to another video. Now, last videos have been quite heavy, to be honest with you. The dog died a couple times. We had to take a break, but here we are again, and the dog is happy. For now, I decided, let's cover some women regretting hookup culture, because it's one of the funniest thing. It's like my personal hobby, to watch the mental gymnastics that this woman come with. And hear them whine endlessly while at the same time not letting go of hookup culture. Now, let's get started.
This works for me personally. It might work for you. It might not, but bear with me. So, step number 1, accept the ghosting. If it's been 2 days, if it's been 3 days, honey, you have been ghosted. He ain't coming back, okay? I'm sorry to tell you. Number 1 is acceptance and realizing that you've been ghosted. Depending on your last message, because you were probably the last one to say something, let's hope and pretend like you haven't spammed the guy already, okay? If you've spammed him, that's fine. That's okay. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has bad days, and Hannah said it best, so we're gonna listen to that. It's fine if you've spammed him, but why does it hurt so much? Figure that out. Take a week, maybe 2, and figure out why it hurts so much. What did this person give you that benefited you?
Nothing. Chads just give you the one night stand. Chads really don't give women anything at all. It's, women have this idea that they lost something after they've been ghosted by a Chad, but they don't lose anything because they didn't have anything in the first place. It hurts them because they have this high self-esteem, this high perception of themselves, and they really think that they are deserving of Chad, and so when it doesn't happen, when Chad doesn't commit, it hurts their ego, you see? It's like reality slapping them in the face and telling them, you're really not that great, you're really not deserving of a good man, and that is what hurts them.
Was it just the attention, or did you like him? Did you like this person? What was it about this person that you truly liked, and what did you share with them that you feel like they've mistreated you?
Guys, just a second. In essence, I don't think that women like Chads. They don't like Tyrone. They don't like Chad himself. They don't like, so let's say Chad's name is Brad. They don't like Brad. They just like that he's leagues above them. They just like the chase. They like to feel entitled, because if women get with Chad and he really changes and becomes, a good father and a good husband, they will fall out of love. I assure you guys, if Chad somehow commits to this woman, and he becomes like this really great father, they will fall out of love. They will say, oh, the spark is gone. The butterflies are no longer there. Because these women who are part of hookup culture, they are attracted to the anxiety and to the chaos. So even if Chad committed, they will fall out of love. They're playing a game where it's impossible to win, no matter what happens. Even if Chad doesn't ghost them, if he commits, they will get tired. It's a lose-lose situation for these women. But let's keep going.
Because usually when you get ghosted by someone that you truly care about, is because you already have a level of trust with them. Like you were planning a future, you were planning a future date, a future meetup. You were making plans and you were involving this person in your plans, and now the plans just disappeared and there is no future with this person, right? So you're contemplating how you're going to move on without this person. So you gave them a space in your life and they vanished, and now you
Space between your legs, may I correct?
need to fill that again. preferably with self-love, but we'll get there. So what is it that hurt you? And if you know what it is that hurt you, then I would recommend writing out a text. Can be in your notes, can be a letter, but write it down and actually have your little Academy Award monologue. Like, you know, I feel that I've been mistreated. I feel like I've given a part of me to you, and directly address this person and specifically say what it is that hurt you. And once you understand that, you'll already feel better. And then this is optional. You can send that text to the person if you feel like you need to let them know, because maybe they're not aware, or maybe they're just ignorant and want to get off easy and they got your hopes up and now they just disappeared and think that you're just going to sit there in silence. You don't need to sit there in silence. You don't need to protect their feelings, and you don't need to protect a future with them. That is probably not going to happen.
This is so cringe, I gotta say. Like, picture Chad being at the gym, you know, lifting weights, looking at, you know, his next meal in the form of a woman. And then suddenly he gets a message from this lady right here, and she's like, I am so mad at you. Oh, you really hurt me. You made me feel so bad. You're a bad man. Chad doesn't care. He really doesn't care about your Academy Awards, about your texts, etc. And guys, the reason I talk so much about Chad, okay, in case anyone is wondering, is because it's the only man that this woman go for. So, women don't get ghosted by the average man, okay? Your average Bob, your average neighbor, he's not the one ghosting women. Women get ghosted by Chad. Because picture this, right? I mean, we can all agree that women have like somewhere in between 70 to 100 people interested in them at all times, right? So imagine what type of man do you have to be to ghost a woman that is being hit on by 70 to 100 men, right? Like, you have to be a top percentage. The guys who are doing the ghosting, they're not your average ones. These women go for the Chads. These women go for the guys who are clearly out of their league. The guys who clearly have many other options.
Talk about the time when I tried to convince myself that I was okay with a casual relationship and situationship when I really wasn't. Back in 2020, I started hanging out with this guy who had been my friend for years before. We turned into more than friends, obviously, and we started seeing each other pretty much every day.
Yeah, more than friends, but less than a relationship, of course.
Pretty quickly. And quickly, because I was giving him so much of my time, I was with him often, we were hanging out, we were doing romantic things together, even though we were not boyfriend and girlfriend,
right.
I became attached to him. And although he told me he was not looking for anything, he didn't want to date, he wanted to focus on his career, yada yada, I still stayed around and I still kept hanging out with him. Even though I...
Guys, this was actually quite important, because when women tell their stories of, oh, I've been ghosted, this narcissist, this bad man, etc., you know, they always whine. They never tell you the part where the guy was, you know, straight ahead told them, hey, I don't want anything, right? Like, we're just doing this for fun, right? They never mention that part. They always try to portray the guy as this really evil, you know, creature who played them, manipulated them, when everyone around could say from the first moment that the guy was not interested in at all from the first second, right? Let's continue.
I knew deep down that I wanted a relationship. I wanted a secure commitment. That's what I was looking for. So I pretended like this fling and this situationship and the absolute bare minimum was all that I needed, which was a complete lie to both myself and to him. And of course, it completely blew up in our faces. We are no longer friends. It ended terribly. And I learned a valuable lesson. I learned that you need to figure out before you get into any sort of romantic relationship, situationship, fling, whatever, exactly what you were looking for. And what...
Yeah, great job. You really learned something new. Bravo. A 5-year-old kid could have learned that faster than you did. But great job. You're in your 30s and you just learned something, you know, elementary. Guys, this is why I don't feel sympathy for women when they tell their problems of how abusive this guy was, how narcissist, how toxic, because most of the times it's on them.
Once you know what you are looking for, you need to stick with it. Yes, I am saying even on the first couple of dates, tell that person what you were looking for, and if they don't align with you, you need to let them go. They are not it for you. The right person will be looking for the same thing that you are.
I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Avoidants who lack self-awareness love roping people into situationships. If you've ever experienced this kind of confusing dynamic, I'm going to tell you how and why it happened. In every situationship, there's at least one partner who has an avoidant attachment style. If you're new here and have never heard of avoidant attachment style, I'll explain. When a person has an avoidant attachment style, they'll struggle with things like emotionally charged conversations, vulnerability, and commitment. They'll also struggle to incorporate their partner into their life in a meaningful way. In a situationship, the avoidant tends to call all the shots. When it's time for you guys to talk, when it's time for you guys to hang out, the overall pace of the relationship, and they'll set time aside for everything else in their life before they set time aside for you. Even though you are emotionally and physically intimate, they make it very clear that you should not have expectations. So you have the avoidant, and on the other side of the situationship, you have the anxious partner. This is the person who blindly follows the avoidant's lead. But why does the anxious partner settle for breadcrumbs when in their heart they want so much more? It isn't because the avoidant partner is particularly amazing or because they're so in love. It is simply idealization. The anxious partner settles because they struggle with insecurity and a fear of abandonment. A scarcity mindset also plays a role in that decision. The anxious partner would rather stay in a relationship where their needs aren't being met than to feel like they were left behind or that they weren't enough. They also don't want to throw themselves back into the dating pool because they're afraid they might not find someone else. The thought of being alone while they wait for the right person is too uncomfortable to bear. So here's something that you need to understand. Avoidants who lack self-awareness and are doing nothing to heal their attachment wounds, they have a knack for spotting this stuff in people. They give less when they see that you're willing to accept less. They want things to be undefined so that when you ask them to meet a need for you, they can say, I don't have to do that. We're not really in a relationship. They want the benefits of your presence, of a relationship, without the responsibilities of one, going along for the ride and hoping they'll eventually want to settle down and give you what you deserve. That approach is not going to yield the results that you're hoping for. In fact, it's a surefire way to be in a relationship for a year and still not know what to call this person.
Now, usually I have to say, women are the avoidant ones just because they have more options, and simultaneously, women are attracted to the avoidant type of guys, the bad boys who don't care. Notice how women are not attracted to the guy who is giving them flowers every day and texting them, good morning, queen, etc. They're not attracted to those sort of guys. They're attracted to the, cold one, etc. And I somehow understand that because women are naturally attracted to stoicism. So they like men who don't share their emotions so much, even though they might say, oh, I want a man who is emotionally available and emotionally intelligent and all these nonsensical words that have been made up in the latest years. But no, women are attracted to men who are more avoidant, right? And so men used to play that role and it was natural. But nowadays, with so many options, women have so many options that if a guy is stoic, he may still be, women may still not be interested in him, even though he's the right definition of what they usually want, just because they have, such high standards. So they go straight for the avoidant, but in a toxic way, guys. You know what I mean? I hope I'm being clear here. And, the whole thing's messed up, guys. That's the conclusion I've came to. The whole thing is messed up. I mean, you ask women what they want and they cannot tell you, or they will straight up lie you. They'll say, oh, I want a guy who is this, and then they meet that one guy and they friend zone him, right? Or they cheat on him and they go for the guy that they said they really dislike, that sort of man. And we'll end the video on this thought, gentlemen. Comment down below, have you had any experiences like that where women say one thing and then go chasing the other one? Leave it down below, gentlemen, and I'll be happy to see you next time. Have a good one.